Most people believe relationships break down because of obvious reasons arguments. Welcome to emotional shadow misunderstandings, or the slow fading of affection. But the truth is far more unsettling. Relationship outcomes are often shaped not by what partners say out loud, but by hidden forces operating beneath awareness. These forces quietly redirect emotions, influence decisions, and determine whether love deepens or collapses. Long before a couple recognizes what's happening, these invisible powers have already shaped the path of their connection, guiding them toward harmony, distance, or heartbreak. And what makes this more mysterious is that even emotionally intelligent people fall victim to these forces without recognizing their origins. To understand how these hidden powers took hold in modern relationships, it helps to look back at the early theories that attempted to decode human connection. When Sigmund Freud first proposed that unconscious desires shaped behavior, few imagined how relevant his ideas would become to relationships. Later, John Bowlby introduced attachment theory, revealing how childhood emotional patterns silently govern adult intimacy. Then came the rise of behavioral psychology, showing that subtle reinforcements, like tone, timing, and emotional availability, could determine emotional closeness more strongly than grand gestures of love. These foundational ideas hinted at a truth many weren't ready to accept. Relationships are not primarily driven by logic or even affection, but by psychological blueprints developed long before two people meet. Yet what psychologists uncovered next was even more surprising. These blueprints don't just influence relationships, they predict how partners will communicate, argue, reconnect, or withdraw, often with astonishing accuracy. The origins of these hidden relationship forces can be traced to early emotional experiences that shape how people perceive closeness and conflict. A child who grew up with unpredictable affection may become hyper-attuned to emotional shifts, often reading danger where none exists. Someone raised in an environment of calm reassurance may enter adulthood expecting stability in every interaction. When two such individuals meet, their inner templates begin interacting with each other in complex ways, creating emotional patterns neither partner consciously chooses. The first stage of connection often feels effortless because these hidden patterns briefly align, creating a sense of familiarity. It feels as if the other person just gets it. But what follows is far more complicated. As relationships progress, these invisible patterns begin to clash. Small moments become triggers. Hesitation is interpreted as rejection. Distraction feels like distance, and silence becomes a sign of emotional withdrawal. What began as harmony slowly evolves into confusion. The rise of tension in relationships is rarely about the surface issue. It is about each partner's psychological history, quietly steering their reactions. One person may become more demanding of reassurance, while the other becomes more withdrawn under pressure. This push-and-pull dynamic strengthens over time, embedding itself into the emotional rhythm of the relationship. Couples often assume these conflicts come from personality differences, but in reality, these behaviors are survival strategies learned long before love entered the picture. Breaking points usually occur when these hidden patterns collide with unmet emotional needs. One partner may feel unheard, while the other feels overwhelmed. Attempts to communicate often fail because the real issue remains buried. Partners talk about what happened, but not why it triggered them so deeply. They argue about chores, schedules, boundaries, or tone, without realizing the conversation is actually about longing, fear, abandonment, or emotional safety. When these emotional undercurrents remain unspoken, every attempt to fix the relationship becomes another point of friction. The same patterns, the same arguments resurface. Emotional intimacy begins to erode, not because love has disappeared, but because communication is happening on two different levels. One conscious, one hidden. The consequences of these unresolved forces can be profound. Emotional intimacy becomes fragile, moments of silence feel heavier, misinterpretations become more frequent, and trust slowly unravels. Couples may still care deeply for each other, yet feel disconnected without understanding the root cause. This emotional distance often leads to cycles of conflict followed by temporary reconciliation, only for the cycle to repeat. And what's even more troubling is that many couples misdiagnose the causes of their disconnection. They blame timing, stress, workload, or minor habits, when the deeper issue lies in unconscious emotional patterns dictating how each partner gives and receives love. Modern relationship challenges only magnify these hidden forces. Social media creates constant comparisons, making partners question their worth or their relationship stability. Dating apps foster the illusion of unlimited options, which can weaken commitment during difficult periods. Studies of digital communication reveal something startling. Misunderstandings happen far more often through text, because tone, microexpressions, and emotional nuance, key tools for connection, are missing. This increases the likelihood of misinterpretation, emotional withdrawal, and premature conflict. Today's world also rewards quick reactions and instant communication, which often intensify emotional triggers instead of calming them. The old psychological patterns never disappeared. They simply took on new forms, amplified by technology and speed. Patterns of manipulation also play a significant role in shaping relationship outcomes. Not all manipulation is malicious. Sometimes it comes from insecurity, withholding affection to feel in control, exaggerating emotions to gain validation, or using silence as a shield, or behaviors rooted in fear rather than deception. But over time, these patterns distort communication, making the relationship feel like a strategic game instead of a safe space. What often surprises people is that many manipulative behaviors are unconscious. A partner may not realize they are using guilt to get attention or retreating into emotional shutdown to avoid vulnerability. These subtle behaviors can quietly reshape the entire relationship dynamic, influencing closeness, trust, and emotional safety. Communication breakdowns follow a predictable pattern, repeating across time and relationships. They begin with small misunderstandings that go unaddressed, building into assumptions. Assumptions turn into resentment. Resentment becomes distance, and distance transforms into emotional disconnection. This invisible process can unfold slowly, over months, or suddenly during moments of stress. But the outcome is the same. The relationship becomes dominated by hidden forces neither partner can clearly identify. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward breaking them. But most couples never reach this awareness until the relationship is already under strain. 3 key takeaways can help in understanding and mastering these hidden forces. First, emotional patterns from the past are powerful, but they are not permanent. Awareness of your own triggers and attachment tendencies can reshape how you communicate, respond, and connect. Second, trust and vulnerability are built through consistent emotional safety, not through perfection. Calmness, clarity, and honesty are more important than dramatic gestures. Third, communication mastery begins with learning to decode the emotional layer beneath the surface. Words, your own and your partner's. When you understand the hidden meaning behind reactions, silence, or tension, you gain the ability to stop cycles before they begin. Ultimately, relationships remain fragile because they rely on the alignment of 2 emotional worlds shaped by different histories. Love alone is not enough. What protects a relationship is the awareness of these hidden forces and the willingness to confront them with compassion. The true mystery of relationships is not why they fall apart, but how much potential they hold when partners become conscious of the invisible powers guiding them. And if this exploration of hidden relationship dynamics sparked something in you, dive deeper into the channel for more powerful insights on communication, emotional intelligence, and connection. Your next breakthrough in love might be just one video away.